Are there any like modern composers or contemporary musicians that you really like their stuff?
So I like Ramsey Lewis has passed away now, but he is my favorite jazz pianist, and I just like his voicings. I like his style. I like his musicianship. So yeah, Ramsey Lewis is my favorite.
Cool. I think John Baptiste, he also really likes D flat major.
Really?
But I remember him.
I wonder why he likes it.
I don't know. Well, he said he likes it because it feels very earthy. And he's like, it feels like a tree, like an ancient tree with its roots going deep into the ground.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Where did I? It was like yesterday or the other day. We're talking about him.
John Baptiste.
Oh man, I don't remember, but
I was at a campus 2 weeks ago. No, it was earlier this week, and these kids
spilled almost all of this on my favorite client of all time's floor. I did it because I'm trying. Never mind.
Tell him why.
Because I care.
Because he's fixing my damn work.
I'm trying to lubricate something over there. A piano part.
I think that's the word of the day.
My name is Terrence Jennings. I've been playing the piano for about 42 years. I started when I was 4. My mom is a piano player, and so I grew up with pianos all over my house. I just love pianos and being surrounded by pianos. This piano is actually the piano that my mom got when I was in 8th grade, and it was an upgrade from the little spinet that I also have now in my house upstairs in an office. So I just love pianos and being surrounded by pianos. It's always been my safe place. It's when I'm frustrated, if I'm excited, if I'm feeling creative, whatever emotion I'm experiencing at the time, piano is how I express it. And so I've written songs at the piano that I can't remember just because that was my way of expressing whatever emotion, whatever feeling I had at that time, including being infatuated with somebody for the first time. Love songs that I don't remember now. I also am Christian, so I love God, I love worship, and so I've written songs to Him that I can't remember. That was just my heart at that time. So the piano, to me, is just an extension of the way I communicate. I'm a minister of music at a church in Dallas at Hamilton Park, United Methodist Church, and I've been there for 8 years. And before that, I played and worked at another church as a minister of music for 15 years. When I first moved to Dallas, I played for a church in Fort Worth, Mount Zion. Baptist church. And so the reason when I moved to Dallas was my pastor from college was pastoring a church in Fort Worth. And so he remembered that I played for him in college in Abilene at Hardin Simmons. And so all roads kind of are connected really by the piano and my connection with other musicians. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Can we talk now?
Yeah, we can talk.
You said spin it, and it kind of made me sick.
Oh yeah, it's a spin it. It's a courier. Ain't nobody ever heard of the courier.
I mean,
probably.
I just serviced the spin it yesterday, so no offense, but come on.
Yeah, it's rough. That's why I have this bad boy.
See, you tell them that it's rough. The spin-its are not this.
Yeah, a spin-it is rough. If you have one and you can upgrade. It's rough.
Who can help them upgrade?
Who can help? Well, I mean, I think Armando here can help you upgrade and make some good recommendations. I remember I got both of the pianos in my house from my mom because she didn't want her baby boy to go into crazy debt. And so she gave me her first two upgraded pianos. So her piano that she bought when she graduated from college back in the 70s is the piano that's upstairs in the office. That's the Spin-it. And I promise you, it's not worth $500.
500?
Probably not even.
It's not worth $5.
Do you hear this? But the sentimental value, it's priceless.
Oh, absolutely.
It's priceless. So for me, it's my mom's first grown-up piano. And then this piano, the story with it, how I got it in this house. My mom was happy for me to be building a house and moving up in the world or whatever. And I told her that I wanted the piano at the same time. And so she was like, don't buy a piano and try to buy a house at the same time. Don't do that. And I was like, well, how am I going to make this work then? Because I really wanted a grand. I built a house with a formal living room area just so I could have a grand. And that was the whole purpose. And so she said, well, I'll make a deal with you. You can piano sit, but you have to get it moved. And my parents live up in Lubbock area, between Lubbock and Amarillo and Plainview. And I was like, well, I don't know if I can make that happen. You don't want me to buy a piano, but you will let me piano sit if I get it moved. That was on a Friday after I'd gotten approved for financing for a piano. And I was going to finance it. I'd closed on the house, so I knew better than to try to get financing before I closed. So I closed on the house on 1 week, on like Thursday. I get piano financing on Friday or Saturday, Friday, and then make that phone call to tell her that I got piano financing approval. And she said, don't do it. And that same day, I was like, I thought about it. I was like, okay, she's not wrong. This is probably the most expensive thing that I'll ever buy in my life. As far as a house, and the piano would be the second most expensive thing that I would ever buy that's not a house or a car. And so I got on the phone and I called different piano movers to get quotes to go to Plainview, Texas, pick up the piano from my parents' house and bring it back to Sachse here in my house. And I found one mover that did it for $1,200 round trip.
What's the mileage? Plainview to...
It's about how many miles is it? I think 300 or 400 miles.
Where's
It's about 5.5 hours.
Where's Plainview at?
So there's Lubbock, there's Amarillo, and Plainview is smack dab in the middle. 50 miles either way.
And it was $1,200?
$1,200 round trip, which was a lot cheaper than the $40,000 that I was trying to finance, you know?
Sure. When you
and so is this the best piano as far as, you know, what I was in comparison to what I was going to buy? Probably, no, I definitely know it's not. But for the purpose, kind of like the Spin-it, it serves two purposes for me. It helped me get the grand that I wanted here in the house, but it also gives me a connection to my mom, who, like I said, is a pianist. She was the first pianist I ever met was my mama. I jokingly tell people in my choir rehearsals that I went to my first choir rehearsal at 6 weeks, and I haven't missed one since.
What?
My mom was a piano player at my church growing up, and so as soon as the doctor released her, she was back at church playing, and I'm in my bassinet or whatever, and she's playing piano. And so this is the piano that I practiced on for my senior, my senior year in high school, getting ready for my college auditions and stuff like that. But I grew up with my mom playing the piano, and so we would have dueling pianos. And when I go home, she's replaced this one now with another piano back home. So she still has an upright Model K Steinway in the living room, but she also has like an electric something, Yamaha or whatever. Then she has a Motif in the living room. So I grew up with pianos surrounding me my entire life. So it's a bug that I think I caught.
You just hit me with a lot of stuff here.
Did I?
Yeah, a lot of awesome. You're in a bassinet.
I'm in a bassinet.
And that's where it started.
That's where it started. You know how some people don't like what their parents do for a living?
100%.
And so they're like, I will never do that. Mine was exactly opposite. And so when people ask me why I keep the schedule that I keep, or why I have the pianos that I have and all the instruments, like I'm surrounded by instruments in my house. I couldn't make a choice because my dad was a minister, a pastor of the church. And my mom was a music director and choir director, and she played the piano. And before my mom and dad both worked at the same church, my mom worked at a church separate from him. And he wasn't even involved in church when they first got together. And so church was just always a part of my weekend, a part of my life, part of the week. But for me, music was how my parents, or specifically my mom, gave to her church, and that was her ministry. And so for me, it was just like, that's what I'm going to do. It was never a question of whether or not I was going to play the piano. It was just going to be what service or what songs. And then as I got older, my mom started letting me teach songs to the choir. And I played beside her. You know, she would play the piano, I'd play organ. And then as I got even older, she would let me take the choir, and I would teach songs that I wrote to the choir, and we would sing them. And that was her way of not just encouraging me, but helping to grow me as a musician, as a church music director.
So you never had that feeling of, I'm 30-something, I'm 40-something, I still don't know what I want to do.
I've never not known
You
what I
were
wanted to do.
from the bassinet. Mm-hmm. It was over.
It's the strangest feeling when
That's
like, it's hard for me to identify with people who can't figure out what they want to do in life. So that's, and as a teacher, now that's strange coming from a teacher, right? I connect more with people and sometimes students who know that they were only in choir because it was maybe their artistic outlet, but they wanted to be a doctor. I understood that. What I didn't understand were extremely talented and smart kids in high school or even middle school, when I taught middle school, who were really good at stuff and had no idea what to do with it. Like, I couldn't help guide them because I was good at music. I was decent at math and science, but I thrived in artistic arts. And as far as like English language arts, that was my thing outside of music. I like writing, I like reading, I like knowing absolutely trivial things and either writing about it or talking about it. So therefore politics is interesting to me. But I never grew up not knowing that I was going to be a music teacher in some way. And then once I became a teacher, I knew that I would become an administrator. It was just a matter of what avenue. But it was never a question of whether or not I would be in education, in administration, in ministry, all at the same time.
We have nothing in common. Well, I'm the complete opposite.
You didn't know what you wanted to do.
Well, but it doesn't mean you didn't have an idea. You can think about these things all day, but to actually get to where you want to be, you actually have to do things about it. True. You have to put in a lot of work all the time.
Yeah.
It's Saturday today. Mm-hmm. You know, one time there was, I was working on a Saturday, back when I worked with piano movers. And I was working, it was a weekend, and someone came in to get their check. And they came in and said, "Y'all are working on the weekends?" I said, "How do you think the lights stay on here? The AC is nice and cool. Go home and relax, we'll take care of it." You know, that's the. But getting back to what you were saying, yeah, I knew something. I wanted to do something in music, and when you're a teenager or 20-something years old, you can kind of get away with that fantasy.
Absolutely.
You know, but at some point, it's not adorable when you're like approaching 40.
And you still don't know.
Right. And
you're still just like,
something like, and that's fine. And some people will never know. And that's okay. I think as long as you live respectfully, cool. And there's no problem with me. There's too many people in the world to expect everyone to know exactly what they want to do. And all that. There's too many factors, I think. We don't live long enough to find it out.
Yeah.
You know, we don't live long to really figure it out. And if once you figure it out, you're dead, I think.
Yeah. Well, that's morbid.
No, but
I do
true.
agree. I think the funeral I played for yesterday was a lady who was 90. And the thing that I loved most about her, besides the fact that we both had the exact same birthday, so we really identified with each other on the way that we thought and the way that our discipline was very similar. And she was 90 and she sang on the first Sunday of September and led a song. And then she died the third Sunday. She came to church the second Sunday and then she died the third Sunday. And I was like, she was an amazing lady. But the thing that I love most about her was that she was always on social media. And I just posted back on...
At 90?
At 90. Oh, my sister and my niece... Yeah, she loved social media. My niece and my sister were here a couple of weeks ago, and I posted a picture of us from brunch, and that lady commented on it. And so it's like she stayed relevant. She was very disciplined, but she stayed relevant, and she tried new things. So knowing what you want to do and doing it, to me, doesn't necessarily mean you don't try new things or that you're not willing to expand your knowledge base or your experiences. It's just, like I said, for me, I knew I wanted to do this. Now, I didn't necessarily know where I was going to go to college. I didn't know where I was going to end up working. I knew I did not want to stay in Plainview. That was the only thing I knew. I was not going to stay in my hometown. My hometown is that kind of college town where if you get a job there, you stay there. If you are the high school choir teacher, you are the high school choir director, and you can have that job for life unless you mess it up. And that's the kind of town that my parents live in. And that's what happened to them. They're still there. And now at 71 and 72, they're like, wish we had to move to Dallas. Well, it's kind of late, you know, because now to them, Dallas, the affordability or the traffic, all of the things that would make someone in their 70s not want to be in Dallas, it's in play for them. They're like, I'm not moving for that. And so for me, while I know what I want to do and I know kind of the career path that I'd chosen as a kid was going to happen, I didn't necessarily know how it was going to happen. And I was willing to go wherever I needed to go to experience it. So I started McKinney as a teacher, and then I found my way around.
How did your parents meet?
In college. My mom, they both went to Wayland Baptist in Plainview. And my dad was a basketball player. My mom was a cheerleader. Yeah. So he was the athlete. He's still more athletic than I am at 72. When we talk, he asks me, hey, how much you benching, son? Like, not as much as you, Pops. But yeah, they met in college, and she wanted the bad boy, and he wanted a good girl, and that's how they met. And and they're still together here. If I'm 47 this year, still been together for almost 50 years.
You sent me that bio yesterday. Mm-hmm. Was it yesterday?
Yeah.
All the days are running together.
I don't even know. The day before yesterday, I think.
Something like that.
Thursday.
See, I don't know. You said you've been playing the piano for 40 years.
Over.
I'm like, you don't even look 40.
I appreciate
You're
that.
at least, I was like, 35. I was like,
is that what you thought?
You look younger than me.
You thought I was 35? So I'll be 47 in December.
Gosh, man.
Yes, sir.
I need to.
Well, part of it is shaving your head. So, like, I got the gray here, but once my receding hairline receded enough. It was easy to shave it. My dad shaves his head, and even at 72, people will ask us if we're brothers. So I'm looking at him like, do I look old or do you look young? But I hardly ever get, that people know that I'm the age that I am. So I appreciate that. That's good genes.
That's not a compliment. I'm upset about that. But anyway, I need to change my life.
But 42. If I'm 47, my first recital was when I was 4. So it's really been 43 years.
First musical memory.
My first musical memory would be my first recital when I was 4. And it was Camptown Races and Oh When the Saints with one hand, and both were in the key of C. And my parents dressed me up in a little suit and everything. And my teacher, Miss Farmer, my piano teacher's name was Bobby Lee Farmer. And she taught me how to bow and taught me how to present myself and all of that. And so I get to the piano and I sit and I'm in my little jacket and everything, and I play Oh When the Saints and I sing it. And then I play Camptown Races and I finish and I stand up and I bow. And that was it.
Can you show me?
Yeah.
Sort of like what you just go try to replicate it the best
so if you could
possibly
imagine
can.
Like, oh, when the saints go marching in, oh, when the saints go marching in, oh, how I want to be in that number, oh, when the saints go marching in. And that was it. And then
That's a good one.
And that was not that fast at that time, I promise you. With a few more mistakes.
And how much did you get paid for this?
$0. I got congratulations and maybe a cookie from Miss Farmer at the.
Oh, you got a cookie?
I think we got cookies because we were the primary group. So I think I got some cookies out of it.
What kind of piano were you playing on?
At that time, it was Miss Farmer at her studio had a Bosendorfer, but that's not what we played. I know it was bad. It was awesome, but I think we played on Steinways because at that point she had Steinways in her main studio for the recitals.
Do you remember what that felt like? Do you remember anticipation or what that felt like playing?
So I get nervous playing. Still. Oh yeah.
You've been playing for 100 years.
But here's what's funny: when singing, I'd prefer to play for myself, and when playing, I'd prefer to play for a larger audience than an audience of one for like a judge or like in college, my jury or my piano lessons. I prefer an audience because at least then. It would give me some feedback from people who can't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people who can't command the instrument or don't have a specific technique that would make them better than me at it. I'm doing something that somebody out there can't do. And so they have a different appreciation for it than a judge who's gonna just tell me what I need to fix, or my piano professor who's telling me what I absolutely need to fix. So they're not just giving me ideas; they're also informing my technique and all of the things.
What songs followed that? Do you remember?
So for me, I think putting the left hand with it, and so like. Stuff like that, just being able to chord with it. And I can't remember after that. The middle school years were a blur. Now, here's the funny thing. My mom tried to teach me piano lessons outside of Miss Farmer. Like I told her I didn't want to take any more from Miss Farmer. I wanted to play for church and stuff. So she tried to teach me. And she sent me back 2 weeks later because I wasn't taking her teaching seriously, even though she still taught piano to other people. I don't think that as a student and child, our relationship was as good when it came to the classical stuff and things like that. So I went to a different piano teacher who's still living. She's like 98 right now, Miss Green. And she taught me the rest. She took me through the rest of elementary school, through high school, and then got me prepared for my freshman year of college. And I can't even remember what I played. It probably had to be a Bach convention, so that one. Bach conventions. That one.
Yeah.
And then I do remember my freshman year, no, it was my senior year, the Chopin. So, and that started with.
Yeah, that's how it started.
That's how it started. And then just playing, and I was also afforded the opportunity to play for different events, songs that I had either written or whatever I wanted to play. Like, I was a kid who played piano in my hometown, and so I just kept playing, even if it was the same couple of songs that people just let me do it. They let me express myself that way. My mom, being the minister of music, or the music director at church, I mean, she gave me permission to play the organ with her. So I grew up playing. And so I can't think of how I progressed, because it was just a natural thing. You know what I mean? It was just,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, now that you're this age, we expect you to be able to play this. Or now that you're this mature, we expect you to be able to direct the choir. But not the older choir, just the kids choir. And then now that you're in high school, we'll let you teach the adult choir. Just a natural progression of the music as I was able to play it. And then when I got to college, being around a bunch of different musicians and church musicians and classical musicians, I became more competitive with the music. So I wanted to be able to play some of the things that people my age were playing. I'm like, oh, I got out of my bubble and found out that people from Dallas played differently than people from West Texas, that, were influenced differently.
Different teachers,
different teachers,
techniques.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So what is there, I would imagine, Dallas being having the population, you would have more diverse, possibly better teachers?
Absolutely. You have better teachers. You have, I think Hardin Simmons did a good job of hiring outside of the West Texas bubble. So, like, my professors got their training at Juilliard. They didn't necessarily come from West Texas and stay there. They came from other places, or they studied other places and then came back to Texas, and ended up landing professorship positions in music at Hardin Simmons. So it was influenced by all over the place. But I think the bigger influence for me were the students who came from the larger metropolitan areas, being exposed to different music or more difficult music earlier than I was. So for me, a lot of the music that I tried to play or that I wanted to play in college, some of them were playing it in high school, because in their market, that was what high school kids did.
Yeah.
Where I'm from, whatever I played was probably going to be the hardest thing that any high school person played, because there was just a few of us that even played the piano in Plainview.
What was the first piece of music that you learned where you said, I'm good?
Let me think. I have to think about that. I don't know why it took till college to get, maybe because of the competitive nature, my competitive nature. It wasn't till I got to college that I had that feeling. And I began to play some of the songs that I heard my peers who were their juniors and senior years. When I was a freshman, I was able to accomplish some of those musical goals, playing different music. I was introduced to Liszt. Franz Liszt is my favorite piano composer. And so being able to play some of the songs I'd heard on classical radio or recordings. And then also when vocal majors would ask me to accompany them. That was the ultimate compliment, is when people ask to collaborate with you because they trust your musicianship. So, yeah.
You can play La Campanella?
I cannot.
You cannot. Okay.
No, I have to read. Now that was the other thing when I became, because I don't have to read as much now. It's kind of like working out. I think if you don't do it, your muscles atrophy, and you just have to start over, right?
Yeah.
And so I'll practice sometimes just so I can continue to read at that level. But I don't have the professor sitting here making me subdivide a measure to actually accomplish some of the things. So do I play like I did when I was 21, 22, right out of college? No, I'm not there right now. But I can still practice and play the things that bring me joy, but not necessarily concert level anymore.
What song brings you joy?
What song brings me joy?
Doesn't have to be the song, but one song off the top of your head that you're like, this is just fun.
Right now, there's a song that gives me joy, and it's called "I Will Give Thanks," and it's by Rossini, and we're singing it at church. And I cannot play it off the top of my head. I have it on my iPad, but I don't remember it off the top of my head. But I just like it because it's so simple for the choir, but the piano is bomb. The piano part is just really, really fun, and it sounds more difficult than it is. And there's scales all throughout it, and arpeggios, and it ends with a good, but just ridiculously bombastic for no reason, except for you're saying I will give thanks to God, and so it just it feels really grand. And then there's a soprano solo with it, a chorus, and then the piano reduction is just awesome as well. So that brings me joy right now.
You were talking about D sharp.
Mm-hmm. So D sharp.
Is that your favorite?
That's my favorite key to just play in. I feel like it's. I like the color of the key, and it just feels. I play differently in D flat. I wouldn't play anything like that in any other key. That's just that key feels so natural, and it I can't figure out a better way to say it. It just feels it feels like home on a piano.
How important is your mood? Does that change your mood? As in, does it open up another avenue for you to? It's like a blank canvas.
Yeah. As far as my mood, what that does, that would be soothing. Like for me, that's if my wheels are turning, if I'm stressed, if I got a lot on my plate and I need to take time out to just play and not rehearse, not practice, not prepare for something, because that's the other part of a musician's life is we're always preparing for something. So if I just want to just play, this calms my nerves. It's just, and it's nothing. This is just my chords that's in my head right now. So if I start doing things like that, that's me talking, but I don't know what I'm saying. I just know it makes me feel good. That's like if I was singing it, but there's no words. These are my words.
It's allergies.
Yeah, that's me talking, probably to God or to myself, calming myself.
What's the opposite of that?
The opposite of that?
What would you go to if you're like, not necessarily that you want to play that, but it's not a relaxing thing. It mirrors the mood that you're in. That could be irritable. It could be and you just want to. What does that sound like?
It would be the Polonaise. It'd be the march. It would be the Chopin that I just played.
Oh,
Yeah, that would be.
That would be the opposite.
That would be the opposite of that, and yeah, it's something that's just like And I would practice that sometimes to also get my mind off of things, because that does require me to go back to the dexterity that I had in college and high school, where I'm working something out, and I'm focusing on accomplishing something musical that has nothing to do with somebody else's performance. That's you. I can say it again.
I thought I could have sworn I turned off the. See, play that piece again.
This.
I'm upset. Yeah, play it again.
See, I have to practice it. So just that piece right there, that reminds me of college and the work that you put into to rehearsing and what I absolutely need to do again. But I'll go to that piece and practice that and just chunk it up and get it. And I also feel accomplished, but it takes my mind off of whatever is frustrating me or whatever is distracting me sometimes at work. That causes me to refocus. And I'm not just playing to play. I'm playing to work on my dexterity again and to focus on something.
What happened to me? I was in Manhattan, a couple of blocks away or a block away from Central Park South. There's a piano store called Faust Harrison.
Okay.
And this time around, I was able to visit. Mm-hmm. It was either too early or too late. I could never get in there. But this time, I went and visited, and I chatted with the sales guy and all that stuff.
Okay.
Took a piano apart because I told him I was a technician, so he was a really nice guy.
Okay.
And I sat at a Bosendorfer. I don't remember the model, but I started to play it. It was so well regulated. Mm-hmm. It was, for me, it was perfect. And I started to tear up. And that had never happened to me before. And because I have Latin background, I got up and I left. We're not in touch with our emotions.
Really? Okay.
I'm like, I'm getting out of here. I don't like this. I realized I think the next day, that feeling that I had is the same feeling that we're able to give people through what I do, like technician work or the rebuild work that I help with, to make something that was once thought of as junk, bring it to life, and the client plays it for the first time.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow.
Well, and even to speak to what you do as far as a piano tech, bringing the piano back to life for a client, I didn't play this piano as much before you started working on it. And I explained to you that it fought against me to play sometimes, and it was hard to play, and it was, even though the spinet sucked, it was easier to play. Or I would just play a keyboard, electronic keyboard, because this piano, even when tuned, was just so hard. Yeah. And so you took all of it out and did made some adjustments that make the piano more enjoyable to play. And I find myself playing it more often.
Yeah.
I moved it up here and into this area. It was back a little further in this room. and surrounded by plants, which reminds me of my grandmother. Which, you know, like this whole room, it's kind of like it's not a nod to just childhood, but it's, for me, it just reminds me of, you know, my entire life to now, but having a piano that I enjoy playing because of your work as a technician. I think people underestimate the importance of a good tech, you know? Like I know that a piano's supposed to be in tune. People know that. Even people who don't play the piano know the piano needs to be tuned. But working with you and other piano techs, I've learned the importance of having a good tech so that when things go awry, when when one note plays too many, like the phone call I made to you a few months ago, having somebody who's knowledgeable and who can talk you off of a ledge, a performance ledge, because it sounds like your $215,000 Model D is going to have to be labeled junk or be rebuilt. That's nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it is, and my job is not to freak out,
right?
Because I can imagine what you were explaining, that nothing was
right.
Yeah, the dampers weren't. None of them. They were too elevated.
All 88.
Yeah. So to me, that seems like it was probably 67 dampers, right? Because there's no dampers going up to 88,
okay.
But 60 plus dampers, right? So I'm thinking they're all doing the same thing. It's probably one thing going on, and as you were talking to me, I was spray painting. I was refinishing dampers. For another piano. And my job is not to stress you out more, but oh gosh, well, I'm like, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, you were really calm. I was almost like, you're too calm. I need you to understand.
Yeah. Maybe I was too calm.
No, I needed it because like I was trying to imagine what the pianist was talking about when she was telling me, and I was like, she's blowing this way out of proportion. And so after rehearsal, I went and I played it because I thought that she just didn't like the tuning, like her ear, just something was off to her.
I had just tuned it.
And you had just tuned it, so I was like, she's not gonna do my boy bad. Like he's good. I know he's good. And she loved the job the last time he did. It's the same job. It's the same. He has the same ear, and he like, you babysit the piano while you're tuning it.
That's a good way to put it. You babysit it.
You do, and I know that. I watched you.
Yeah.
And even when I'm in a hurry, you're like, I'm not in a hurry. I'm going to take care of this piano.
No, the last thing I want to do. Some people really care about speed. Mm-hmm. They want to knock things out really quickly. There's a negotiation. You don't want to take forever, but I also don't want to rush things. Mm-hmm. As in, like, this is my client, this is my time with them, this is my time with their instrument.
Yeah.
Why would I rush that? There are times where, dang, I got to get going, or for, logistically, I have to, but I'm not going to sacrifice my quality because I want to leave.
Right.
That's not a way to do things. Mm-hmm. And people notice that.
Yeah, we noticed that.
Yeah, you noticed that.
That's why when you were calm, I'm like, if he's calm and he's giving me this response, then he's confident that it's going to be taken care of before Sunday.
Yeah.
So
I've told clients, when I freak out, you freak out. If I'm not freaking out, there's no reason for you to freak out.
That's fair.
And let's say the worst of the worst happens. Let's say. Anybody die? Like what happened?
Right.
There's going to be another week, another day, people won't remember that. Mm-hmm. Things will get fixed, and there are disasters that happen. It's hard to say. There's disasters in the piano world that qualify as disasters in the piano world, mm-hmm. But in the grand scheme of things, it's going to be all right.
It's going to be all right.
Yeah. So it's really important that techs are performers as well. Mm-hmm. We're performing. We're doing a job there. It's a performance, right, in a way.
Absolutely.
It sounds much uglier than what you do, but it's a performance. It's technique and skill, And a lot of it has to do with, imagine if you're a performer and you are as nervous as possible. Mm-hmm. That's not good.
No.
You don't want to be nervous. You need to show. I tell other techs, and remember, I'm still a baby in this business. I'm still a baby. But I have previous experience of management and all this other stuff. You show up, and with your body language alone, you let them know, I got this. It's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. Because a lot of times, getting their piano serviced is 10th on the list of things to do that week. 20th? You know, it's not, right? For us, it's number one at that moment. But for the client, it's not. So if you're in that space as someone new at their job, walk around in that space. You're fine. Do the best job that you can. And that's it. And if they call you back, awesome. If they don't, awesome. You can get on to the next one. You have to have a kind of amnesia. In a way. And I know I've done jobs in the past, especially starting on, where I'm like, I know I didn't do a good job. But at the same time, was I supposed to? Yeah, I was supposed to, but I was brand new, and you know, you're just trying these things like a musician. Are you going to be unbelievable when you're 10 years old compared to when you're 25? You're going to be better when you're 25.
You better be.
Because you have all that experience. But you got to go out there. You got to go out there and try. And there's times, and it'll never end. You show up to a piano, you know, I have never seen this issue before. What are you going to do? Tell them, oh, I don't know, or see what you can do, and if you can't, you know someone who can,
right?
And do it that way. But no, it's very important for me not to cut corners. You don't cheat the people who give you a living,
right? You
don't cheat them. Much like you don't cheat an audience. You put everything you can. Like, this is what you do.
Right.
You from the Bassinet, you've had that training.
Right.
I found this 5 years ago or so. But even then, I know. I'm a customer to people. I'm a client to some people, you know. I know how it feels for them to let me know that they're on their way, or keep me informed.
Right.
Keep me up to date. You know what I mean? And when you're showing up, stuff, little details matter.
Well, and how you are in our space as a piano tech, I think hopefully you've seen it, that we trust you based on the conversations that you have with us as a client, about our piano, or about even yourself as a tech. Willing to say, if I don't know something, I know who does.
Yeah.
Because my least favorite adults to deal with are the people who know everything.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm like, at some point you're not going to know something, and because you've set yourself up to know everything, I can't trust you. And so I need somebody who's going to be like, you know what? I'm dang good at my job. I'm going to spend as much time as I need to with your piano. I'm not going to rush it. But if I run into something, I know who can handle it. So when you let me know, I think I know what the issue is. I want to call so-and-so to handle it and talk them through it. I'm like, this is still my dude when it comes to my piano tech, because you knew it, but even as you were processing it, you called somebody else in to help us mitigate that situation, knowing full well that you could have done it. You could have talked me through it, but you called somebody in, and I met you because she was like, I got the person who can handle and take care of you, and not rushing it, and informing us about the piano and the status and the options sometimes. Like, we can fix this, but is this worth it? I appreciate that, because I don't want to spend a ridiculous amount of money on the Courier upstairs. Just tune it and let it go out of tune in 6 weeks. Like, I want it for this purpose, and that's it. It's not a concert piano. Or I might not have him do the spin it. But anyway.
No, you can't. I mean, I service all pianos. I mean, there are some exceptions, like those old players.
Yeah, you don't do that.
No, they look. No, because I wasn't trained to do those yet. I'm open to it, but the thing is, you got to take all of that stuff out.
Yeah.
And then put it in, and so I'm not. Those at a client's house, it's not time to practice.
Right.
It's not. That's a big undertaking to do something like that. But
the only time I ever had that Courier tuned in this house was during COVID, because I had to teach from my office upstairs, and I needed a piano that was in tune. So,
yeah.
And that was the only reason I did that. And I got a wrench to try to tune it myself.
Why?
Because it was COVID. I didn't want somebody to bring COVID in my house.
Okay, because it was COVID.
Online, YouTube's the master teacher, so certainly I can figure out how to make it sound better.
Yeah, you're a master. Yeah, you're a master now.
I'm a master now. Absolutely not. I think that wrench was used once, and then I put it back in the piano bench and haven't pulled it out again.
Yeah. Well, can I see it?
Oh, I think
Is
it's
it in here?
upstairs. No,
Oh,
it's
it's
not in this
upstairs?
one. It would be
Okay.
upstairs. Yeah.
I know what they look like. It's fine.
So, but I'm just like, I probably shouldn't do this because I can't restring this thing if I pop something or if I screw it up.
Yeah, spinners are particularly tough because they have a drop action. Mm-hmm. Like all those keys are connected, and unlike every other upright, the action's not connected to the keys. So you can take the action out, do your restring,
to spin it, it's
put it
tied
back
to
in. The spin it, all the keys are connected, and it's a tough thing. And if you mess something up, I liken it to a certain car makes and models. You got to take out the entire dash to get to this one little part. Some make it easier for you. Spinners, no. I don't know anything about vehicles, but if I did, I'd be like, well, it's a Taylor. Help me out here.
Like Mercedes, back in like the late 80s, early 90s, they had this brilliant idea to make a biodegradable wiring harness. And so, a couple years later, everybody's electrical system just starts dissolving. It's like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
They're like, well, we wanted to be more eco-friendly. And it's like, maybe that's not the way to be more eco-friendly.
Right.
No, I will sacrifice penguins like that.
First it was dogs. Now you're going to sacrifice the penguins.
Oh yeah, the dogs. We can get that story on camera. Thank God. But anyway, I think preparation is huge, as you know, obviously. But for someone who's trying to find that thing, can you explain what kind of preparation? Let's say someone who wants to get into music and do what you do.
Okay.
Explain that it takes a lot more than some talent and a good ear and love and passion. You actually got to work a lot at it.
Right.
Can you explain the process and preparation?
Well, preparation as far as getting to, like, what I do now is fine arts administration in Plano School District. And I also work as a minister of music at my church. And I knew I wanted to be an admin, and I knew I wanted to continue to work in church music and ministry. And I didn't necessarily know how I was going to maneuver life with 2 full-time jobs the entire time. I didn't set out to do it forever, but I've pretty much successfully done it because of communication with the people around me, but also communication specifically of the goal of, like, I want to be a fine arts administrator. I want to be a music director. For the people in the church world, help me connect with the people who can help me be the best at that. And when I'm talking with those people who are considered the best, they're like my mentors. Some of them, they know that they're my mentors, and some of them, they mentor me from afar. They don't know that they're my mentor. I'm watching them. I'm watching their moves, and I'm like, okay, they're doing this many clinics or workshops a year. They're not overexerting themselves. And then within the educational realm, I have my principal certification. I went through that back in 2009, and master's degree and all of that. But I watched people around my age at that time maneuver that, because I, again, was still working at church, didn't want to get out of the classroom to go be a building principal though. So I was like, every job description said preferred, not required, but preferred, master's degree in principal cert. And so I prepared by getting that master's degree, getting the principal certification, but then watching the people in education who were either music directors or teachers, some of them were principals, get into fine arts admin, and asking them, what do you do? What does your resume look like? And so then I began to volunteer to be department chair of the fine arts department at a 6A high school. And that let me see the budget, that let me see master schedules, that let me see and talk to stakeholders who were district level. And so that in turn allows me to talk to school board members about district initiatives, whether that's a MLK program or a mariachi upstart in Garland ISD. Like how do you make that happen budgetarily while we're also, facing budget deficits? So then I was able to maneuver and get a new job in a different school district and open a new high school, starting from scratch, a whole program, writing the school song, building community. And then after I finished all of that, my first year opening that campus, the position in Plano came open. And so by this point, I have the principal cert, I have the departmental leadership experience, I have the district leadership experience, I know how to talk to school board president and superintendent. That was really attractive to the team who was interviewing me in my current position. They wanted somebody with the knowledge, that was a duh. They wanted somebody with a piece of paper. Took care of that forever long ago. But they also wanted somebody who could do the intangible things. And so I prepared myself. But I watched other people do this, and then I mimicked it, what I could. Yeah. And then the things that were authentically me, I put that in there. Like, I do not tell people that I work at a church. Like, that's part of who I am. Everybody knows that I play the piano. And so now I have a district deputy superintendent and superintendent who comes to our fine arts building. And it's like, I thought you were going to be playing the piano, but and it's now an expectation that at some of our district-wide events, I'll be playing, because I secured a donation of a piano for our lobby overlook at the Fine Arts Building. And so now when we have arts exhibits or events that happen on the main floor, while people are just milling around, we have music being played. And that expectation just kind of was built in because I do share the music side of who I am, even as an administrator, with my staff and with the people who are, I'm their subordinate. They know that music's part of my life, and if they're in my space, I'll share it with them. Yeah. So that preparation though really comes from watching and growing and being willing to kind of step out of your comfort zone and be a leader in difficult situations sometimes.
Yeah. Like, I learned from my father. You're talking about just watching. Mm-hmm. Like, my dad, he wasn't the type to let me show you how to do this, let me show you how to do that. And no, it wasn't like that. But I heard him in the morning at 5 in the morning I heard those boots
hitting around.
Yeah, we're in a trailer, right? So you hear everything. Mm-hmm. And you hear those boots, boom, 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 boom. Door closes, 5 in the morning. Those are my earliest memories.
Wow.
That's my first music experience, was hearing the boom, boom, that 4/4. Mm-hmm. That's how I was like, well, that's Not saying that's all that it takes, but that's, you get up early, you go to work, you come home late. That's how you get good at something.
I think we're brothers because I learned that too from my parents.
Yeah, you learn it that way, and you don't need that hug or that I love you and stuff like that. That taught me, because you're paying attention. It's like you're seeing all the negative stuff. You're seeing all the things that you wish you had. You're never gonna get that.
Right.
Pick out those, look at those things, really pay attention to those details, because you're going to learn from those little bitty things that are the boring, mundane things. And I guarantee you that man didn't want to get up that morning.
Right.
Why would you? Because of me, because of my brother, because of my mother. Mom was staying home. Who's going to provide for the family?
Right.
Him. So that's a major... I only have one hero, and that's him. And nothing ever has to be said. We can be in the same room and not speak to each other. It might be some BS about, oh, you see what the Rangers did today?
Yeah.
We're a baseball family, so we might talk about that. But other than that, no, I learned. And then I did want to ask you about seeing your parents age and stuff like that, because I'm going through that right now.
Yeah.
The limping, you see those years of work, all those years of,
Absolutely.
and you're like, I come from that. I got to honor that. For better, for worse, don't matter. If we get along, we don't. That is where it's at, because that's going to help me survive.
Right.
That is going to get me through the dark times. And it has. What is it like to see your parents get older? Do you have thoughts, and you're like?
So my parents are getting to the point now that they choose their travel based on their health. And so they won't come to Dallas right now because my mom does dialysis and my dad is her primary caretaker, but she's still, moving around doing fine, except for she does dialysis 3 times a week. And so traveling would require her to find a clinic wherever she is if she can't do her dialysis that day at her normal facility. And so this Thanksgiving we were thinking was going to be able to come to this house again. And 2 weeks ago, I talked to my sister and my dad, and, they were pretty much like, no, it's going to be in Lubbock. Because mom's not up to traveling yet like that. And I respect that, but since the last time my mom's been here, she hadn't seen some improvements to the backyard and the new floors and just the stuff that seemed trivial, but you as a kid want your parents to see that they did instill a work ethic that says you take care of your house, or you take care of the things that you invest in. You invest in your life and quality of life, because that's what they modeled for us. And so I wanted her to see it. That was the biggest of them aging right now is the limited mobility, the limited travel. When I see other people's parents able to take cruises with the family cruises and stuff like that. That's not going to be my family. I'm going to their house, or I'm going to my sister's house. Their second refrigerator was for her home dialysis treatment, not the beer fridge. It was literally the medical fridge. That reality. Or when they invest in their home now, it might be to outfit the bathroom with a rail. Like the reality of your parents not just spending their money on the things that they want anymore, they're spending it on health. My dad is much more independent, but he will do things like go to Lubbock to get his eyes, to go to his ophthalmologist, not tell my sister who lives in Lubbock that he had to get his eyes dilated. And so he calls her from the doctor saying, If you have time, can you come pick me up?
Pick
And
me up,
chill,
yeah.
I'll come chill at your house. So she's like, if you had just told me, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Of course, I got you, but look, can we prepare for that? And so now that my sister's the closest of the two of us at home to their house, she knows a whole lot about both of them that I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
And that she doesn't remember to tell me or just doesn't tell me because there's nothing I can do about it. This time last year, I went home for my mom. She was in the hospital, and so just watching her try to explain to the doctors what she did and didn't want, but because she'd been there for so long and kidney issues and was messing with your brain, like I didn't realize how connected our organs are to everything and how it influences the functionality of everything else. And so watching them age, in their 40s, which I'm the age that they were when I moved here now. So I'm seeing myself in 25 years is what I feel like.
Yeah.
Where I remember the knee replacement at 45. And so now I'm watching the dialysis port, it changes how I eat, or it changes how I consume sugar, because one's diabetic and both have been diabetic. One controls it with dialysis and the other controls it with, not dialysis, with diet, and the other one controls it with insulin. My grandfather died after the second leg amputation in the ICU. So there are things about my family that inform some of my decisions, but watching them age, I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'll have to deal with this issue or that issue. But watching them navigate it it's been a different experience watching your parents age. But also on the flip of that, I've also seen my dad refer to my mom as his girl.
Oh wow!
That's my girl, and then because there's there's no kids in the house anymore. It's just them, and so they take Sonic rides, and this is plenty.
What?
Sonic drink. They'll go to Sonic to get a drink.
Oh, the fast food. A Sonic ride.
A Sonic ride, and then just ride around town.
Wow, like they're kids,
they're
teenagers,
like they're back in college again.
Wow.
We have nowhere else to go. We don't need anything. The kids aren't here. Let's just go get a Coke and drive around and look at the town.
That's so beautiful.
And so watching my dad talk to now I'm about to have allergies. Watching my dad talk to the doctor about my mom, and I'm that kid who's like, tell him about this, tell him about, you want the doctor to know all of the symptoms and all of the things, but my dad was trying to make sure that the doctor didn't over medicate or over assume that something is worse than it actually is, and so he would diminish some of the things that my sister and I had noticed, And when I talked to him, when she went to one of her dialysis treatment, it was just him and me in the room. I was like, why are you not telling the doctor everything? Why are you downplaying? He's like, that's my girl. I was like, oh my God. At some point, at that point, they were 70 and 69. At some point, they were 19 and 20 and 20 and 21 and 21, 22. You know what I mean? They were just boyfriend and girlfriend in their 20s, healthy, and imagining life and growing old together. And now they're doing that, and that's still his 20-year-old girlfriend, and that's still her 21-year-old dude. That's who they are to each other, but to us, they're our aging parents.
Yeah, exactly.
But to him, that's my girl.
Yeah, that's my girl. It's so... I realize now, because I've had experience, but I took care of my grandmother as she was dying for a bit in Mexico, and an ex-girlfriend of mine, she was very, very sick and stuff. That whole, when you mention, tell him about this, tell him about that. I record on my phone I would record every doctor's visit. When Mom got sick or my dad had whatever issues he was having at the time. Mm-hmm. I would make sure to record it on my phone and stuff like that. But at some point, you have to remind yourself, like, there's an end to all of this. And you can kick and scream all you want and tell them this, tell them that. It's not going to matter at the end of the day. And we're kind of trying to put a pause on all of this. But like these things, you can maintenance them all you want. You can do all this stuff, but at some point,
you've done all you.
It's time to let go.
Right.
And in this genre of situation, is, you know, there's things you can do to make you get your knee replaced. Well, we can put new strings on. You get this replaced. We can put new soundboard in or whatever.
Right.
But at some point, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. There's no.
And some people look at their piano like it's a family. It's a family member. It's great. There's nothing wrong with it. It's an antique, which I guess people think that means money.
To some people.
Some people. But you know, you open it up, you're like, it's great that you love it. I love it too. You love it. It's great. But this is it.
Yeah.
And there's times I did it the other day. I can't work on this piano anymore, or I can't. You have to turn around and go back home because ethically, it makes no sense.
Right.
That's it. But I can help you find a new one or whatever it is. But keep on playing it. But it's not going to happen anymore.
Right.
It's not the same. It's not 19, 20 years. It's not a teenager anymore.
Yeah.
Things get, you know, things pass on. But yeah, that's interesting that you say that, because I feel like, oh gosh, these are my people. You know what I mean? And it's going to come a point where I got to, like they did for us,
do for them,
step up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
I see that slowly happening. And they know it too. They can sense it.
They can. And even with like Thanksgiving coming up, my dad, and they hosted it for a while, but then the last time they hosted it, they were so tired. My mom, moms are moms, right? They're going to try to do everything they can to not show the family that they're tired or that they're not feeling well or whatever the case is. And so she's just slaving over the stove, and she finally asked for some help. My dad does oxtails, and he's an amazing cook when it comes to oxtails and stuff like that. It's so good. But so this past year, he was like, "Yeah, son, your sister's hosting. She's gonna do the oxtails. I hope she can do as good." And he's kind of sarcastic. I hope she can do them as good as I can. And then we get there, and she did. And so this year, in talking to my dad, he's like, "Well, it's gonna be at your sister's house again, and you know, we can do something." But it was nice having help last year.
Yeah.
You know, what do y'all need us to bring? You know, so that it felt good to see. Now that my niece is 15 or 14, she's seeing what we saw in my parents and my aunt 20 years ago with my grandparents. It's like they can do it, but it takes a lot out of them. And so now it's the changing of the guard. So my aunt and my cousins come over to my sister's house, and my parents come from Plainview, and it's like this generation of late 30s and 40-something-year-olds are cooking and serving our parents, who I remember being the kid that they served their parents. So, like, you know, Riley, my niece, pay attention, because
my mom.
You got to learn this, because your mama's going to be like my mom's grandma name is Duchess, like Duchess. And so Riley, the 14-year-old, makes the cheesecake, and that's the family dessert for Thanksgiving. And she takes pride in that, because it's like, I'm helping Duchess, but I'm also learning what we do as a family, you know, like the family traditions. I've been having cherry cheesecake for Thanksgiving I can't think of when I haven't.
This is the Bassinet.
It's pretty much. But my aunt and my mom made it all the time. You know what I mean? Like for my granny. And then when my granny died, we still kept doing it. But then my sister started making it when she was in high school. And now my sister has a high school age student, I'm such a teacher, high school age kid, and she's making it. And it's like, okay. And then my mom will say things like, now, Riley, you know we have a small family because there's no kids on this side. It's just her, and then her mom and me, brother and sister, and then my parents. So we have a small family. So you're the one's going to take care of everybody. You know, like just trying to teach her how family takes care of each other. And so we hook her up. We treat her like the next generation. She's just one, you know, instead of multiple on our side.
Yeah, my mom has told me, pay attention, just like you should. Pay attention because one day, that's it. And she's right. Mm-hmm. But my perspective so far is I want your cooking. And when that cooking ends, it's over. Mm-hmm. What the hell? I hope that was on camera.
It was. Now you blow it up. So let me ask you, how do you honor your parents as they're getting older and they're realizing that they are, and she's saying things like pay attention.
How do I handle that?
How do you honor? Because to me, it's a form of honor to call my dad and ask him for his opinion about something.
Yeah, that's not happening here. So to the cooking thing, to finish on that, I want mom's cooking. Mm-hmm. And once that's over, it's over. But I understand, to me, it'd be like renting a mom or something. I don't want to rent them. You have one mom and that's the end of that.
True.
And once that cooking is done, that belongs to a specific place in my life, a specific time. And these things end. But I understand the whole, I don't cook, I cook, but not like that. Mm-hmm. So I don't have the patience.
It does take patience.
You gotta like it and have a love for it, and to do that. Maybe every once in a while, yes, but to actually do that on the regular, that's not my thing. But you're asking me how do you, like, as your parents are aging, as you are watching them go through, maybe any of the things that I've talked about, like doctor's appointments and things like that. Mm-hmm. My dad will talk about their mortality more. Like, my dad's kind of, I told you, sarcastic and dark. Yeah, my dad too.
He'll call me and say, son, how do you feel about me and your mom being cremated? Out of the blue. Yeah. Like, that, not good morning.
I would say it's great.
Just
sounds amazing. Call me later.
He says, how do you feel about it? I'm like, well, it's your wishes. What do you want me to say?
How about good morning?
How about good morning? But, like, is this going to be soon? Like,
yeah, how soon are we talking?
How do I need to prepare my heart for this?
Have you prepared your will?
They are starting to talk about, like, the finale of life, right? And but they don't talk. My family's real private at the same time, so he'll talk about it, but then he'll also not talk about certain aspects. So, like, I know that he's considering being cremated, but I don't know anything about their finances. My sister knows more than I know about that because she's the family finance person. That's her job. She's a CFO for the Lubbock area United Way. Like, her money is her thing.
Yeah.
So they'll talk about it with her, but for me, it'll just be, I'll get a customer survey from Wells Fargo from Plainview branch. I'm like, so I have to call and say, something just happened at Wells Fargo, and I have a Wells Fargo account, but it's at Plainview branch. He says, no, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm worried about it because y'all are doing something. You're moving something or you're doing something.
Yeah.
And he's like, don't worry about it. So I finally got him the answer, and it was pretty much, getting their like payable upon death kind of things. Take, like, son, y'all, very biblical family, very, like, Bible based, growing up. Mm-hmm. Son, you're the oldest. You're by birthright, you're supposed to be the one that is the power of attorney, but your sister's closer. So if there has to be a decision made, she's going to be here a lot quicker than you. So will it bother you if y'all have to share responsibility? If she's power of attorney, but you're the executor of the will? I'm like, this is so dark, but that's what's on their brain right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
It's not dark to them.
it's not dark to them.
Like
'cause
it is you.
No, but to me, it's still the dude that I raced in the parking lot. Like, you know, and I went on his bread route when he was when he worked at a bread company, and he would deliver bread, or the milkman, and I would go to his work for that. And so I'm not hearing and seeing and probably wanting to hear some of the things that I consider morbid, but for him, it's just like, you know, this is what we talk about now.
Yeah. Usually when my parents bring that up, I say, how much am I getting?
And then they'll stop
That's the
talking
first
about
thing. No, they'll you know, that usually breaks the oddness, the darkness, because I don't find those topics dark. My mom, they talked about that, like we're going to be buried here, this stuff like that. I'm like, cool, y'all do your thing. And those topics don't bother me so much because there's a finality to it.
Yeah.
I mean, once you've seen someone die and all that stuff.
I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't?
I have not seen somebody die. No, I should
totally
not.
should.
I should not ever watch anybody die in real life.
No, you should be. It's a beautiful thing. You don't think it is. And it's a great experience to have.
Was it your grandpa?
It was my grandmother.
Your grandmother?
That was an ugly one too. It wasn't a pretty death. But I would seriously suggest anybody maybe not everybody, because if you can sort of get out of your own headspace and be comfortable and understand there's a finality to all this. Once you see something like that a couple times, it's like a release. You're like, oh, okay. It's going to be okay. It's fine. Because the last thing you want is to not be prepared for that. And then someone super important, you see it for the first time. That could really mess you up. As opposed to, I always say, depression, grief, seeing someone die, or whatever's dark, it's a muscle and you got to work it out. Don't run away from it. Because if you're not fit and it happens, you're not going to be prepared. And that could really knock you off. Whereas if you start exercising now, you prepare now, it's not going to be that bad. And it's going to be a beautiful experience. It doesn't seem like it, but it is.
I hope I don't see it soon, though.
I hope you do.
I don't see it soon.
Not
You
your
see how
parents.
dark he
Not
is?
your parents. Not your just a very, very close
No,
friend.
I know who you're talking. No, you're not talking about my parents, but
I'm not.
no, I will say in yesterday's funeral, the daughter is also in my choir. So the lady who passed away was in my choir. Vibrant lady. I think she just told God she was ready. Like I feel like she had that kind of relationship where she was like, okay, I'm good. Peace out, I'm gone. Like that.
She did like that.
She just
peace out, I'm gone, and then
just took her last breath. She technically had a heart attack and just died, but she was 90 and had a couple of bouts with falls and hips and stuff like that, but was still very independent. She was driving up until last year.
Yeah.
During the day. But anyway, her daughter was there when she passed away, and she passed away pretty quickly after, like obviously she was just in rehab and then had the heart attack and died. But her daughter was there for it. And what has been shared with us is that it was what you described. It was peaceful, and she's no longer in pain. And all of the things that you associated with the struggle of the last year was in that moment released. So I can see that being a positive.
It's nothing to be scared of at all. And I would suggest, I know it sounds counterintuitive, but I would suggest almost anyone to have that. Put yourself, I used to volunteer for a hospice as well.
I was going to say, you sound like you've had experience with it.
Yeah,
with
and
it a lot.
that was I'm trying to get back into it right now, but it was after grandma died and a bunch of other things. You're kind of left when all that stuff's over. You're like, well, what's the next? I need to continue to do this. Because those experiences help you way more. Because you think you go into it thinking, I'm going to help someone. No. They're going to help you. Especially as a guy, that was when I needed it the most. I wasn't working. I was super, I mean, you get in your headspace. Like, I've struggled with depression since I was a preteen. Like very hospitalization stuff multiple times. And I think what's super underrated and what's getting lost is volunteer. Do something for someone else. Stop thinking about yourself all the time. You know what I mean? And maybe that could be, there's people that have kids and stuff and that they do their part, raising children and stuff like that. I don't have that, so I got to find another avenue to do that. But you go into it thinking, I want to help. That's not the way it works. They're going to teach you that you're full of yourself. You're way too much in they don't say that stuff, but again, we're going back to paying attention.
Right.
If you pay attention, look at your surroundings. The way I gauge my problems is, would I bring this up to someone who's dying right now?
Oh, wow.
And if the answer is no, then you probably need to get over it or work on ways to just evacuate it from your life. It's fine, don't worry about it. If it's something I would talk about with someone who's dying, then you have something to work on there. So I think it's super important to get out of your own head. It's not all about you. There's other things out there, but that experience, I don't think I'd be here in the way that I am doing things right now in my life if I didn't have that. That accelerated me getting well.
Okay.
I got off all my meds.
Really?
Jobs came in, and
What was the shift?
the shift was that was a major shift. Major shift. Because when someone's dying and you're taking care of them, there's no like, oh, I feel down, and you got to make sure they take their meds. And I would have to be awake all night and sleep during the day. My sleep schedule got completely flipped. And when you're in that state of mind, when you're on these medications and stuff, that's not good for you. But at the same time, you have business to take care of.
Right.
And tools are super important. Whether it could be anything. Gather all the tools into your toolbox. Gather tools into your toolbox, because when darkness hits, you got to pull out something. Because it's going to happen. What are you going to use? So I've gathered tools through bad, dark times that could help me.
Okay.
So that when something hits me nowadays, it's not as bad. It's fine. I can still go to work and I can still do this, and it's going to be all right.
Yeah.
Seeing someone pass away, same thing. Those are tools. It is dark, but it's very necessary, I think.
It's part of life.
Yeah, you can't have life without death.
Right.
It sounds so simple, but that's the truth. But passing away with people that you love, around people you love, taking care of you, so there's a lot worse ways to go out.
Yeah.
But what would you say in your life personally was a dark time, or a time where you said, you know what, this music thing ain't cutting. I don't know if I want to do this anymore. I'm not sure if you've ever had that, since you've had this forever, but has there been a time where you got really down because you're not sure if you want to do this anymore, or?
when I first moved here, the struggle for me in Dallas was that the market was so different and big, and as far as are you a good musician versus are you a musician? Like, remember I told you where I'm from, there wasn't many people who played, like my mom and myself and my aunt, and my dad was a singing preacher, so like we were this musical family. My dad was the pastor, so really no one was going to tell us no either. So it was kind of, we kind of came with as a package, right?
Yeah.
And then I moved here, and I hear other people play, and I see other people getting gigs, and I tried to gig. So my original thought and goal in moving to Dallas was going to be musician at a church, choir director at a school, and studio musician on the weekend. I don't know how I was going to do all of that, but all of three of those things could be full-time jobs, right? But as I was hearing other people play, I compared myself to them. And I think musicians, we do that a lot.
Yeah.
We compare ourselves to other musicians, and because we don't play like somebody who we respect or like somebody else, even if we don't respect them, we don't play like them. Or as a music director, I don't direct like them. I don't choose the music. My choir's not as good. I'm not a people magnet, so I don't have this huge choir in a huge church, but I have a good choir, just not a huge choir, versus the people who have huge choirs and success with them. So I began to compare myself to other musicians, and that would be the first time that I considered, and this was back in like 01, 02, 03, and I took a sabbatical from the church. It was my first or second year of teaching, and I had Christmas break, and I told the pastor, I want to take 2 weeks, and I'll let you know if I'm coming back for good, or I'll let you know if I'm giving my resignation. And because I was just like, I'm driving them from McKinney to Fort Worth twice a week. And the church was fine. The church was, providing a hotel on Saturday night if I had rehearsal on Saturday. The people were nice and kind to me. It's just, I was comparing myself. And, people in performance will tell you, especially choirs, of their glory years and what we used to do and what we used to be able to do. And it'd be nice if and they're not that talented, and I felt like I couldn't do it for them. So like I questioned whether I was the right fit, if I was the right musician, if I was good enough for any of that. And so I gave my, my notice when I came back, 2 weeks, and I was out. And during those 2 weeks, I went to a potluck dinner. And so you talk about an event that turns. I went to a potluck dinner, and there was no piano in sight. It was just a group of people who I met through one other friend having Sunday after church potluck. That's all it was, just a gathering of friends. And one of the guys that was there was going to go to a church here in Dallas to audition, but he felt like the job was too big, and the church was looking for a director and organist, keyboardist. And we met and we talked on that Sunday. And he didn't know I was going to be at this potluck. I didn't know neither of us knew the other was going to be there. And we're eating, and my friend tells him that, Terrence is a choir director in McKinney, and he plays for Mount Zion in Fort Worth. And the other guy was like, oh, you play at Mount Zion. That's the same church that looks like Mount Pisgah down the street, in Fort Worth, downtown, or that area of Fort Worth, Rosedale and Evans area of Fort Worth. I was like, okay. Didn't know anything about it. I didn't know anything about him still, but he started talking about his experience in the music world, and he's older than my parents. So like, I didn't know, if he knew other people who he thought were better. Well, and at this point, I know he did. Like I know he knew other musicians that he could have extended this opportunity to. He said, well, I'm going to this church this week for, it's basically my interview / rehearsal with the choir. But they're telling me that they're looking for a team, like they want to hire a team. Could you be at my house for a rehearsal tomorrow? And I'm like, sure, because remember, I've taken a sabbatical from my other church, so I'm not
playing anywhere. So I go to his house, and there's a group of musicians there, and he's got this Hammond B3 and his piano beside it, and we're talking about the music that he's going to present at this church here in Dallas for his interview. And I'm just going to go, and I'm going to play. And I'm like, okay, great, done. We practice. I know what he's teaching. He knows that I can play. He's like, oh, dude, you can play. Yeah, let's go. Let's do this. Worst that could happen is they don't want either one of us.
Yeah, that is the worst.
Or they want one or the other, but at least I'm comfortable with you, and hopefully you're comfortable with me. And ended up getting to the church before he did on that Tuesday. And the pastor was this chill dude. But before I have to go back, before I went into the church, it's this big old huge building in Addison. And basically Addison. So it's like Dallas at Spring Valley and Noel Road.
Yeah, it all breaks up. Yeah.
But it's basically Addison. And I think that I'm in the wrong place because she hears my voice. She can't see a thing.
Yeah, she's blind, right?
Yeah.
She can be in the shot. That's cool.
No. I got to the church, and I thought I was in the wrong place because this church did not look like what he described. And it was the right church. He was just really, really late. And I went on and went in because I didn't want them to think that I'm untimely. And
right.
And the pastor says, well, Brother Ken's not here yet, but since you're here, can you go ahead and get the choir started? And I was like, I was supposed to just play. Like, that's all I was coming to do. And I didn't have lyric sheets. I didn't have music. I was like, sure. And I taught him a song that I taught another church choir. They ended up liking the song. The choir liked the song. There was like 75 people sitting in the choir stand just looking at me. Like, who is this kid? He doesn't fit the description of who they said was coming. So I'm teaching them. And then the guy finally gets there, and he teaches his song, and I'm playing for him. That Sunday comes, and the following Sunday comes, and I'm doing my song, directing from the organ. He does his song, directing from the podium, and I'm playing. After service, the pastor and the associate pastor and the finance guys come, we meet with them, and they're like, the Holy Spirit wants us to hire you as a team, but as not you as the director and you as a musician, but can y'all work together? Can we discuss that? And that ended up being a 15-year stint at placement that God had me at that church. And it was perfect. It grew me through my early 20s all the way to 39 years old. And I grew as a musician, and that during that time I was introduced to other musicians that poured into me, and I got to meet gospel artists and learn how to deal with talent in the church world. You know what I mean? And then back in 2018 is when I went to my current church. But my experience at the church that I was talking about earlier is what prepared me for the church I'm at now, because this church the one I'm at now had things going on that I would not have been prepared for had I not been at the previous church. So yeah, I've gone through the time of I want to quit, and during that time of I want to quit, God put somebody in my life that helped bring me into a better place, a better fit, where I could be mentored, could be poured into. I wasn't by myself doing it, and the pastor was also on board with change. And so, but I was paired with somebody who was old enough to be my parent. You understand what I'm saying? So it was like, but it didn't want the full responsibility of being the minister of music. And I ended up being there longer than he was.
The stars aligned. The
stars aligned. And so I think that, to your point about there's always an end, I also think that there's also divine intervention. There's the stars, however you want to look at the spiritual. But for me, I know that in that time, had it not been for that one potluck dinner on a Sunday afternoon, I would not be here right now. I wouldn't be in this current position, and I definitely wouldn't have been at the church that helped me through the loss of grandparents, the loss of jobs, finding my way professionally.
Sure, but it's that also. But people open doors for you. Like for me, I got into this business because of applying to be a piano mover.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that, like, longevity is different. If to do something for a long time is different than just getting lucky.
Right.
You know what I mean? People can open doors for you, but you got to walk through them and actually do the stuff to make it happen. I mean, if you were just some guy that played the piano and just had these delusions and you got put in that position, you probably wouldn't have you wouldn't have done well, but you were prepared.
Right.
Like you, from the Bassinet, all of that time put in, I'm sure a lot of mundane stuff.
A lot.
Prepared you for that. Mm-hmm. So that when you didn't, when on the surface you weren't prepared, but you had the reps, you put in the time, you were ready for that moment.
Yeah.
You were fine.
I'll tell other musicians that all the time, that because now I'm the one that's almost 50.
Yeah, I found that out today, and I look at you differently now.
So now it's my relationship to young musicians has flipped. The ones in their 30s will call me Big Bro. You know what I mean? Like, hey, Big Bro, I'm trying to figure this out. I got this going on at the church. Or I got this going on at my school. Can you help me talk through this? So I have one of my musicians from my old church. He's a band director at a private school, and he's like, I need you to talk to me as an administrator. Here are my ideas. Or here's what my current administration told me I needed to work on. Here's what I want to present to them as, how I'm going to work on it, my improvement plan. What do you think? And so I'm like, when did I become?
It just happened.
It just happens, right? But like you said, the door's open. And what I encourage people all the time is to be obedient to when you know that things are right and when you know that things are wrong. Like the church that I left, the one door was open for me. I wanted to leave several times because things got hard, but that, like, the Bassinet and my dad being a pastor and seeing the hard issues and watching them grow through it, I was like, I literally watched the pastor drop dead in service and stayed. I said I'd never work for another pastor other than him in this church. And here it is, I'm 2 pastors in after him. But I didn't kick doors down. Somebody opened the door, but also somebody mentored me through situations. So don't quit just because it gets hard, or don't quit just because it'd be easier. Because there's something to grow through, not just go through.
Yeah, but the thing is, who wants a shortcut anyway?
Yeah,
because that you don't learn anything. You don't learn anything with a shortcut. Right. You don't have that experience of. I imagine if I never broke a string or something. You gotta learn how to fix that.
Right.
With this instrument, there's so much that it would take you decades to be good at everything. Mm-hmm. There's so much. I mean, to just refinishing it has nothing to do with that's like a furniture thing. The keys, the mechanics, the tunings, the stringing, and there's just so much to learn from it. But never think I got this now or something, because there's always something else to learn. There's a lot for me to learn still, a ton, not just to learn, but to be very, very good at it. But man, when I found this, it was like when I came out of the dark, coming out of the dark, you never really make it or cured or anything like that. You continue. You just, okay, today was good, let's make sure tomorrow's good. And because all this stuff could disappear, you never know what happens. This thing has taught me, don't be too full of yourself. Can't tell you how many times I thought I've done a good job. I get a phone call on my way home. What you thought was fixed is you gotta, and I turn around and it's fine. And it just knocks you down a bit. It doesn't mean be down about it. It just means you're never, don't be too comfortable.
Yeah.
Continue to learn your craft.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. For me, the piano's taught the same thing, but it also taught me discipline, and that, like, the athletes of the world, you can see sometimes visibly their work, but for musicians, sometimes no one sees the process. And I tell this to my church choir all the time. No one cares about our process. They just care if they like it.
Yeah, the only ones that should care are you.
Are you? And I had to literally on Thursday, I said, y'all, we have a Christmas cantata coming up, and this is church anniversary month, so every Sunday something special. I know that you all are sacrificing, those of you who are here are sacrificing your time to be here, and you have somewhere else to be. But I have another 4 or 5 people online, and then I had between 5 and 10 people leave rehearsal early because they had other things they were going to go do, to which they didn't tell me what it was. But
nothing.
All of those things were happening simultaneously. So I started with about 40 people in rehearsal and ended with 25, 30 online and in person. And we started at 6:30. I'm talking people were walking out at 8. I was like, if we're going to be good at something, it's going to take sacrifice, and it's going to take time, and it's going to take effort. And if we're going to talk about pursuing excellence, then there's an investment of time that's required of you to make that happen. And so this instrument has taught me the investment of time, the investment of being focused. Like that time, you can't just spend time with it. Like I can sit at this piano all day long, sure, but if I don't actually work at my shortcomings, or work at my the dexterity, or work if I'm reading, I have to read difficult music sometimes. If I'm not reading more difficult music, then I'm not growing. I'm not doing what's required of me to be a better reader, or to be a proficient reader for the level of musicianship that I'm trying to pursue. That's what this piano taught me. And to bust you down a notch, when you think you've reached that pinnacle, and then a freshman in college comes in and plays circles around you.
Yeah,
it's like, well, dang, I guess I'll take my behind to the practice room. And then lastly, this thing taught me my senior recital in college, 1997. Picture it, it's 2001, spring of 2001. I'm playing for everybody's senior recitals, vocal senior recitals. I'm playing for 2 churches, and I'm working in the student commons until 2:00 in the morning. And then I get up and I go do it all over again. Working ain't never been an issue for me. I don't mind working. I don't mind working. But I get to my senior recital jury, which you have to you have to play it before they will sign off on you doing and presenting your senior recital for graduation. I fail it. I failed that senior recital barrier, but the date was already on the calendar. in the School of Music calendar, they put everything on this board, and it's not digital. It is back in the early 2000s, where it's in ink, or it's like the lettering in those message boards.
It's in stone, much.
And so it feels like it's in stone. But when I had to cancel it to see where the hole was, and to tell people,
oh man,
that I didn't pass it, I called my dad, and I'm pretty sure I cried.
Yeah, you cried. I know. Yeah,
and sure. I was like, Daddy, I didn't pass it, and I can't do my senior recital on schedule. And if I don't pass it the next time, then I won't graduate on time. And he said, why are you on the phone? Should you be in a practice room?
Whoa, yeah.
And I was like,
yeah,
you ain't wrong. And so that was, again, the piano lesson. That should be a whole movie right there. That was the lesson. There's a process, and as we're talking through this entire conversation this morning, I'm hearing the word process a lot. Like, there's a process to what you do. There's a process to practicing. You ask about processes to getting where I am professionally. My dad was not a music major. He can sing extremely well, loves music, but he wasn't a music major. My mom was a music major, or music minor. My mom's the one that plays the piano. But I call my dad because he would be on my side and say, like, well, that professor doesn't know what he's talking about. And he was like, you didn't pass it. You need them to sign off. For the same committee that just told you no has to say yes in how many days? I said 7. He said, well, go to the practice room. Why are you talking to me? Why are you on the phone?
Precious time right now.
Like, I can't help you.
Yeah, I'm not, what am I going to do with it?
Right.
He's right, yeah.
He was right. And so from then on, it was that, here I am, almost 50, still telling that story from 21 about that scenario. And that's how I apply everything. If I can't control it or manipulate a situation by my discipline, and I know somebody else can, then I have to meet their expectations of me to get what I need done professionally or, music, whatever it is. But I learned it at 21 from him, telling me, get off my phone, go practice.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you just wanted that pat on the back. Like, that's it. That's all you needed was that.
And I didn't get it though.
Right, no, that's what you wanted.
That's what I wanted.
Well, you got better advice.
Right. And so now, if I don't get what I want out of a situation, I look at what my responsibility is for that situation. But it started for me at age 4 with the piano. And then at 21, to put a bow between pre-K and college, it ended with piano. That final lesson of you will not graduate unless that committee who just failed you passes you. And mom and daddy can't save you. And you telling them how much you've played for other people won't that's immaterial to this conversation. You have to go do your work. But this piano, the piano is an instrument of discipline to me. It's also soothing, and it's also like the relief I get from accomplishing a piece, or whether it's choral or piano, when it all comes together. I don't know about you, but like when I'm playing the piano, when I'm playing something that I thought I couldn't do and I do it successfully, that is for me, that's fulfilling.
Yeah.
And that's only through the music that I feel that particular feeling.
Yeah, I have that a lot, but it keeps on expanding because there's new things to learn. So I started taking apart you remember seeing the mechanics of it all and stuff. They've taken all that, getting rid of everything and putting new parts in, and just basic. It's not really technician work. It's just kind of like Legos, I guess, or putting stuff together and making sure it functions. But now that, as you continue, like we don't need you for that anymore. You got to do this now and blah, blah, blah. So I'm just starting. So I have so much to learn and to accomplish and all of that, but by far the best part of my job is this part. Mm-hmm. Now, this doesn't happen with every appointment. We don't sit down. It doesn't. But just, you're meeting someone for the first time, cold, or they call you up. Mm-hmm. Or something. I need to be on the phone with you. I have to talk on the phone whenever it's the first time because I need to hear your voice. I need to hear how urgent it is, or is it a big deal? Is it not a big deal? What's the real problem? Because you learn so much from a phone call that you don't learn in text. Mm-hmm. That way, whenever I show up to your place and service your piano, I'm more prepared.
Right.
I know what to expect. I know what my day, by and large, is going to look like. But showing up to the client's house and getting to know them and seeing what their story is, what the story of their piano is, because at the end of the day, we've talked about your disciplines and your degrees and stuff like that. You never once asked me about mine. Right?
Right.
Probably because I don't have any. No. Well, I have some certifications, right? But I don't think that's important to you. It's how you're treated, how the client's treated, and how your punctuality and all that stuff. I think people think that they care about all that, but they don't. They want to be treated with respect.
Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, do a good job, of course. I can't leave the piano a mess if you ask me to fix it. But I think fundamentally at the foundation, it's what once stressed me out to get done. It's fine now. It's all good. We had a good time and it's over. That's it. Performers, the client doesn't see all the preparation that goes into it, or all that literal blood, sweat, and tears. Literal blood, sweat, and tears. They don't need to. My job is not to tell. Do you not know what I go through? That's not my job. My job is to show up and do a good job. You're a performer. Your job is not to tell the audience, do you not know what we go through?
Yeah.
To put this on for, it's magic to them. Especially people that don't know anything about music or anything. They don't know how it's made. They just want to listen and be like, wow. It amazes me how there are people who are amazed by people that could just play basic guitar or basic piano or something like that. Whereas you and I, we probably wouldn't even pay attention to it because we see it all the time.
Right.
We take it for granted, I guess, to a point. But I think it should be kept that way to a point. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. Right. Have a good time. That's what I think our job is. Right. But how important is spirituality to what you do?
For me, I'm grounded in it. So as often as I've referenced God and hearing His voice and guiding me professionally and personally, I think that it's probably like center more so than just the music for me, because I have stayed at a church longer than I personally wanted to because of my relationship with God. My spirituality, it's my guiding force, honestly, because it would be easier. And I even, as God has opened doors professionally outside of church work, and I'm not teaching music anymore in schools. I'm in administration at this point, so I don't get to teach the music all the time unless somebody invites me in to do a clinic for the choir, which that's a whole other thing. But I was like, God, if you get me a job where I don't have to worry about finances, I can just focus on that one job, and I'll volunteer at church if I want to, but I'll travel. He is yet to allow that to happen for me. And I think it's because I know that if I went to a church that had a need and I saw it, I would try to fill it immediately, whether it was salary or not. You know what I mean?
That kind of spirit.
That's because, and it's also how I give. Like, it would be like if you attended an event and you have your tools with you and you hear a piano that's crazy out of tune and it's distracting. Are you going to let it just fester?
100% yes.
You might, but if
because that would be entertainment for me. Be like, oh, this sounds awful.
But for me, it's like it's my call. I didn't just fall into it. It's like my calling, and it was so easy. It's so a part of who I am that I can't sit there and let it be bad.
Sure.
Or I can't sit there and know that I could I can't even say the word, positively influence or affect the outcome. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes I will purposely go to where I know they don't need any help. I'm just going for my own edification and to just be poured into, and I'm just going to sit here. And there's a church in Plano, Shiloh, I went to their Christmas cantata years ago, like 15 years ago, and it snowed inside. I was like, I needed this. Like they had a snow machine, like at the end for the grand finale. I was like, I needed this because we talk about, you know, what we don't do. Like church is supposed to be not supposed to be a spectacle. It's all supposed to be reverence. But this was a performance. This was a concert and a cantata, and God be praised, yes. But we want spectacle, and they gave us both. I was like, you can do both, and I needed to see that, but I didn't need to influence it. You know what I mean? Like I didn't need to be a part of it. I just needed to sit in it. Then I texted the minister of music at the time. I was like, dude, you made it snow inside. You know what I mean? Like
You made it snow.
You made it
inside.
snow in Plano.
That's a new compliment.
But it really, and I didn't have anything to do with it. And now I can contact him and ask him, how did you do that? How did you do the projections?
Yeah.
How did you do, like, so the spiritual side of it is I can't help but be a part of it. It's like my ministry, but it's also ingrained in me, and that's part of my giving back to God. Because I feel like, yes, there's a talent that requires skill and study, but there's also like there's something about my personality that I think is God given that allows me to thrive when I'm doing it, not just exist, but I thrive doing it.
If, in all seriousness, if there was a piano, if I had my stuff with me and there was a piano around that was in terrible shape, but it needed help for that event, yeah, absolutely, 100%. Because the odds that there's another piano tech there is pretty low.
Yeah.
You know, and I get to show off what I can do and stuff like that. I've had this. There's a fantasy that I have where, I don't know, some piano players on stage at a concert, 20,000 people, and something happens, and they're like, "Is there a piano tech here?" You're like, "Yeah, I'm back here," and I'll go up there and fix it. But that would be the most terrifying thing of all time.
Well,
in real life.
Do you know Gino?
Who knows what it is? Gino Jordan? Yeah.
He was the piano tech at TMEA a couple of years ago when they were moving the piano on stage and the leg broke. Have you heard about that?
You said moving.
They moved the piano.
You said moving the piano on stage. I know what's about to happen because there's no reason you should be telling me that detail.
The leg snapped, and it was a convention of like 30,000 musicians. But do you know who could put that thing back together? Him. Like there was no one else that anybody wanted to go. Now he was also on call, but in this huge music convention filled with music people, it was Gino that got us back. And it was in the choir concert hall, so it was we weren't going forward without it. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And the piano tech is who saved the concert series. So, like, I never underestimate you all. Like,
Gino's the man. I've never worked with him side by side, but my interactions with him have been, he's awesome, dude.
Yeah, but I just, like that scenario that you explained, that happened to us at TMEA 2 years ago. It was just like, flip the piano around for the next concert, snap, and like.
See, I was thinking more mechanical something. No, you're talking about straight up breaking a leg. Was it a D?
It was the D, yeah.
Oh, God.
Broke the leg, and he said when he got it back up, it was still in tune. But he had to like fix the leg and make sure that everything was still right with the piano.
So it just
and keep the concert schedule. Like y'all do God's work, and you all saving my piano. You saved my job that day, because if Eva had gotten back on that piano, and all the dampers had still been up, that would have been my job. And I am not saying that as hyperbole. She has that kind of pull. She doesn't know who to talk to until she knows what she needs, and then she knows who to talk to. And she would have had my job that day. Not on purpose, but she would have just, let them know that
It's time to go.
that whoever Terrence hired didn't do a good job and they ruined the piano. And do you know how much this piano would cost to replace? And
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah.
all of the things. And so people underestimate the importance of a good piano tech, and I not.
I don't think they underestimate it. I think they don't know it exists.
Well, I do.
You
I
do.
know.
Most people don't know it's a thing. Like before, I remember hearing the words piano technology for the first time. I'm like, what? I thought it works. What could be the problem? Literally, I mean, and I've played electric piano and stuff when I was a kid, and acoustic pianos from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing serious. But I thought, well, it makes noise. What's the issue? I think most people think like that.
Yeah.
Why would you think otherwise? Or like, if you get in a car and it goes forward, where it drives, it's fine.
Right.
What's the issue? It's not the case.
Well,
That was the most wrong thing I've ever said in my life.
Yeah, to the average person, they just know it requires tuning. They don't know.
Yeah.
Like, when I asked Leah that time, like, well, how much do I need? Like, how much? She's like, it's like, no, like, I have to teach.
You're not going to hear that from me.
Because I have to teach them, and them being finance and trustees, that it's more to keeping up instruments than just tuning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if I ask for piano tech for that pedal on the Yamaha, it's because we're going to use that space for worship service now, and that Yamaha pedal can't be that loud. You know, during work, like, it can't be that kind of a distraction.
No, it can't. It doesn't turn in. It's not a distraction anymore. It is the piano.
It's bad.
I wouldn't be able to hear anything else.
And so, and it doesn't take a musician to hear that. Like,
No.
that's anybody can hear, right?
Anybody can hear that.
But they need to know that that's something that is required of a piano, or possible with a piano, to be addressed, not just tuning. Like, didn't they just tune it? Well, yeah, they just tuned it. But this is a new issue, or this is an additional issue. Hammer wearing, you know, that's the thing. If you want to keep this instrument, then we have to take care of other things within the instrument, not just tuning it.
Right.
The strings are, yes, tune it. But beyond that, there's some other costs that we can incur. We were renting our chapel out to another church a few years ago, and while giving the choir their notes, the pianist broke a string, and it had to be replaced. And then they had to come back. You tuned it, the other brown Yamaha, and I was like, yeah, we got it tuned, and yes, we just got a new string, and yes, we're calling somebody back out to tune it again because it's a new string.
It's a baby. Those brand new strings don't have any elasticity in them. Like your strings have plenty. They're old school. New strings need that stretch.
Right.
The first year of tunings is super important. Like whenever we string a piano at the shop, we gotta tune it 6 times before it leaves. And even then, once it gets home, let it sit for a bit, let it acclimate, and then that first year of the tunings is important for stabilization. You want your piano to stay put where it's at. But yeah, it's not just replace and done.
Once and go.
Nope.
Right.
Not even close to the case.
And so training people who have to pay the bills for those kinds of things. Like, I work in a fine arts office, so I know what our tuning budget is for the year for all of our pianos. And if somebody else saw that outside of our department, they'd be like, for pianos?
Yes.
It's a healthy budget.
It's a real thing, and that's why I take it easy to, you know, if I go into a house and there's, you know, a mom who's wrangling up the kids and busy, and she's cooking, or a dad trying to keep things together, keep down the noise and stuff like that. And the budgeting is the thing. I might bring up that you have issues here, but I don't try to sell them on that stuff because I know how pricey it can be.
Yeah.
Now, if you're just using your instrument to, a 5-year-old girl's playing it, learning a little bit. Okay, well, you're not going to treat that instrument the same as I would the Steinway D you have at your church.
Right.
It's different purposes, right? Just make it sound good, and as long as all the keys work, cool. And then if she gets advanced enough, maybe we can talk about an upgrade some years from now. Cool. As right now, your instrument's fine. Don't worry about it. What blocks your creativity?
Too much on my plate at the same time. Like just having too much going on. That blocks it. That's the quick and easy answer for me.
Your schedule.
My schedule.
Yeah.
Just doing too much at the same time.
You're doing too much. Mm-hmm. Now, is doing too much, is that part of why you are you?
It is. I couldn't
you
do
take
one thing.
too much on,
Yeah, I couldn't have one thing to do in a day. That's
That sounds like a dream to me.
It sounds like a dream, but I don't know. Like if I have that kind of day, it's stay in my room and watch Netflix all day kind of day where I don't do anything. So there's not limited creativity. There's no creativity. So what blocks it would be when I have too much, but I'm still required to have creativity.
Yeah. Well, someone who's had depression for what will be 28 years now. The ultimate goal, we tell ourselves because it feels so comfortable. The ultimate goal is to just lay in bed. You just want to lay in bed. You don't want to do anything. And it feels good at first. It's like eating an entire lasagna or something. Mm-hmm. But then right out, it's the worst thing for you to isolate yourself and just to want to do. I'm not saying don't take a break or anything. Yeah, you gotta have those moments when you're by yourself or you gotta decompress. Right. But to be like that chronically, just to stay home, isolate yourself. That's poison.
Right.
It's the worst thing you can possibly do. And when I mean lay in bed and do nothing, I literally mean
lay in bed and do nothing.
Lay in bed and do nothing, and maybe get up to go to the bathroom. Other than that, nothing. That's all I spend a lot of time doing.
What you eat? Would you find time or make time to eat just because the natural need to eat?
Sure, just to live. But of course, you're not going to have a kale smoothie or anything.
Right.
You're going to eat the worst things in the world, and it's just this vicious cycle. When the reality is, at any moment, you can change that. At any moment. Every second of the day, you have a decision to make. I can change this. That's unbelievable power to have.
Yeah.
And we don't know that that's inside of us. We have that power. At this second, I'm going to say no. And this is it. My life's going to be different.
Yeah.
But remember, the next day after that, the next day after that, the week after that, the month, the year after that, you have to continue to work on that.
Yeah.
So one day you might feel good. Be like, yeah, I'm going to turn things around. Doesn't last very long. Because you need to put in those reps. It's like a gym or something, exercise. Again, you got to put in those reps so that when things really, and that's when nothing's happening. Mm-hmm. What happens when you get laid off or your parents pass or whatever? Yeah. Then we'll see what you're really made of, or you get in a new relationship or something. You'll really find out there how much progress you've really made.
Yeah.
But that stifles creativity for me, is doing nothing. As opposed to you spent your whole life pretty much saying, okay, yes, I'll do that. Right? You've had to have, or else you wouldn't be. You wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here if I didn't say yes to things. things that absolutely terrified me to death. Things that I'm not sure if I'm able to do that, but let's do it.
Yeah.
I have a motto with Taylor, or at least my motto is, we're going to die. Let's see what we can get away with while we're here. You know, in a positive way, you know what I mean? It's going to happen, but let's see what we can do. What positive things can we do while we're here? Because it's going to end one day.
Yeah.
So that's super important for me. What would you tell someone that is in bed, doesn't want to get out, is pretty much done? There's a lot of them. I know some. I grew up with them. There's still some of them are still like that.
Yeah.
They don't. If they're not in bed physically, they're in bed here. What would you tell that person or those people that don't want to get out of bed and do anything?
Yeah. I taught a song, and it's kind of my mantra. You have the power and the authority to change your situation. So, like, for me, sometimes because of my schedule, sometimes I'll do what we just talked about, just staying in bed. But it's not for me, it's not out of depression.
No.
It's out of, sometimes I'm just tired.
You need a rest.
But when I have gotten to those points and I didn't want to go anywhere, I didn't want to do anything, in this particular song and this particular statement, you have the power and the authority, going back to my spirituality. A lot of times self-talk, like what I say to myself, becomes my reality. And so if I'm tired, I woke up, I'm tired, I'm going to have a bad day. I created that. And so now my boss, who's been the same every single day, gets on my nerves more today.
Yeah.
The teachers who reach out to me to ask things of an administrator annoy me.
Normal proper things.
Normal stuff. I'm like, why are you asking me
the same way
about this? And then I have to think about how I set my day up. I set my day up in the morning. I said, oh, it's going to be rough today.
Yeah, you're already screwed yourself.
I've already messed so if I'm in that situation where I'm in the bed and I'm like, oh, what kind of day is it going to be? Like, I have the power and the authority over I can't control everybody else, but I can control my situation. I control my mindset and in the things that I allow to influence in a negative way. So since I know that my boss does certain things that annoy me, I prepare myself for that. Or since I know that I do things that annoy him,
sure,
this goes both ways.
They got to put up with you too,
because I'm so chill sometimes, and he's the opposite of chill. He wants me to match his energy, and sometimes I'm like, I ain't got that energy for that because I don't think that's that significant. Yeah. But for you, it is. So let me think about how I'm presenting what you're sharing with, how I'm reacting to what you're presenting to me. But yeah, that power and the authority to change your situation. And then we had a assistant principal when I started teaching here in Garland area. She would end her morning announcements with, make it a good day, the choice is yours.
Blah.
And I was like, I wonder if I agree with that, or I wonder if for middle schoolers, she's, like I taught middle school, she's letting them know that everything you do is a choice. And you can make a choice to react to that teacher, or you can make the choice to participate in the food fight in the cafeteria. That's going to affect your day, and then you won't be able to affect the consequences. You just have to accept them. There's going to be consequences either way. You have the choice to study for the test and pass it, or you have the choice to leave your homework at home. Like those kinds of choices, not just the psychological choice, but my actions will beget this reaction. That's like, if I lay in this bed all day, am I going to get anything done? I'm talking to myself right now because I got some goals I need to meet at a certain time in October and November. And if I don't meet them, I will be well rested. I'll have a sleep score of 90 plus with my Fitbit. I score my sleep. I find out if I sleep.
You're one of those. Right?
I am one of those. But if in the morning it says 12 hours, from Friday night to Saturday, and I still haven't accomplished my goals. Well, I've got a good sleep score, but I'm still not meeting my goals. So how can I control my situation to be more productive, but also rest on the days that I have more time to rest? Like today was the time that I've devoted to this for now. But I still woke up early enough to not feel rushed and to give myself time, because I need Terrence time.
That's going to be the title to this.
Terrence time.
I need Terrence time.
No, I do, and everybody needs that. But I have to spend it moving around. It might be taking my dog out. It might be watching Netflix, a series that I haven't seen yet that I'm like, I've been hearing about it, but this is my time. This is the time that I'm going to spend watching this. Or this is the time that I'm going to spend writing, because I'm writing on a dissertation. So I've got to work on this. This is my goal. And I'm not going to write the whole thing. I just need 2 pages today. Like, just giving myself realistic chunks of things that I can accomplish. I'm not going to write the dissertation today. Can I write 2 pages today? And can I write 2 pages a day for 5 days? That's 10. That's 10 days. That's 10 pages. I can do that, but I can't write 10 pages today. That's a lot. I can't do 10 pages and go to lunch after this. But I can do 2. I can do something.
Do something.
That makes me feel accomplished, and I can go to bed tonight knowing that I've given some time to my friend. I've given some effort to this vision, and I've also given myself some time to just watch Netflix and chill. Literally, just do that. And then I've also given myself time to write on a goal of mine, write towards a goal of mine of finishing this dissertation. So just give yourself something that's attainable, rather than I got to get all of this done today.
Yes, because it's like cleaning out the messiest room.
Yeah.
Like, where do I get started? Well, start here. Like,
just do laundry.
Just do exactly. And that's how, at least that's how I got in the process of getting well, or getting out of that dark, going back to 2016. Mm-hmm. Do the laundry today. Mm-hmm. Do the laundry. Tomorrow, do some yard work. Do dishes.
Right.
Take a shower, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
It's like that. Mm-hmm. Then you start accomplishing these, what to someone else would be, they don't even think about doing those things, they do it. But to someone in that state of mind, in that position, it's massive.
Absolutely.
But just doing those little bitty things, go for a walk. You don't have to go for a long walk. You don't got to go for a jog. Go for a walk. Let the sun hit you. Mm-hmm. Get a bike. Call up a friend you haven't talked to in a long time. All those little things start adding up. Mm-hmm. It's like you playing that first little song when you were 4. Mm-hmm. You got to start there.
You got to start somewhere.
To me, when I see you doing that, I'm like, that's laundry. That's maintenance. That's the very minimal thing. Mm-hmm. That will set your foundation for the rest of your life. So that, as opposed to thinking, oh man, I want to be this. No. You can't even live right.
Right.
Start doing this. Get to bed at a reasonable time. Wake up at a reasonable time. Control your temper. Do what your counselor or your mother, whoever told you, gave you some guidance, do what they asked you to do, because obviously what you're doing is not working.
Right.
Do those things, and then we can start getting a job and all this kind of doing something that you want to do. Right now, it's not the time. Right now, you got to learn the fundamentals.
Right.
So that's the way when you play, I'm like, well, it's a direct translation to someone coming out, getting out of bed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now you're able to do all these things because you made the decision every day to get out of bed.
Yeah.
It's like that. And sometimes it is that simple. It's hard, but once you accomplish that stuff, you feel so good about yourself. And then people start watching what you're doing. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, dang, he's doing that. That rubs off on people. It's a positive thing, I think, anyway. I don't know.
I agree.
Can you start playing?
Sure.
Playing piano? You can play whatever you want.
Okay.
And Taylor, you do your thing. Play whatever you want. I'll stay out of your way. Play full songs, whatever you want. We can get rid of these chairs.
that's when I discovered I like D flat too.